chronological survey around the same time that Aesop lived, if he lived at all. He's just legendary, that Greek slave. There was a woman who lived who does not seem to be legendary, although it's really hard to know a lot of stuff exactly about her. Sappho is her name, and she might or might not go by the name of Sappho of Lesbos, but as you're going to see, I have a reason for using the name of the island where she lived. But first let me tell you about Sappho. She's the first famous lyricist. She left the world some lyrics. Most of them were lost, but we have a few. And she left the reputation of having been a great lyricist. Maybe now, if you just wanted to jump around, if you really have notes, it would be good to jump to, I'll come back to her, it would be good to jump to genres. Genres mentioned in class. I don't know if that's like 2 point something. And I guess I'm going to back up. A fable, I mentioned it yesterday, a fable is a very short story, often with talking animals and a moral at the end. Not always, but often. And examples would be the tortoise and the hare, the fox and the crow, and yesterday I was telling you that Aesop left the world 100, 200, or at least there is that collection that bear his name. Now a lyric means words to a song, but that's a general, it works. I mean, the lyric is the words of the song, but originally a lyric was a poem meant to be sung probably, that expressed a personal feeling. It's so different from the heroic epic poetry of Homer, which was about a nation and about the deeds of heroes. A lyric was an attempt to get into words and into song a deep personal feeling. Not quite like a psalm either. David, singing his psalms, very deeply felt his passion for God. But a lyric is more earthly. Anyway, but now they just mean words to a song. And an example, why I mention it now, I'm always trying to go in chronological order. Sappho's ellipsis, Sappho's lyrics. I actually thought a little bit about finding one and reading a little bit of it to you, but if you want to, you could find them, I'm sure. Here, at this point, I used to, when I had more time, there was a time that I taught that I didn't do the foreign language component, and I had more time. At this point, I would open it up to the class and say to the students, you tell me a good lyric. And at first, they would be very timid to do that, but eventually they'd start brave, because it was almost indecent in a way, because I was going into their literature. You know, they could care less about Homer or whatever. Well, they couldn't care less, but that's all, yeah. But the songs that they listened to, their own, and I never knew them, because I don't listen to the radio ever, and I never knew them, and so the kids would be bringing their literature to me, and they would bring lyrics, and as I say, at first, kids would be very timid to do this, because what one kid simply loves, another kid hates, and a lot of times they're not kind. But usually what would happen is then the kids would, I'd have all these lyrics coming in, and I'd only devote 2 or 3 days to it, and then I'd get off it, but it was very interesting to me and useful. It's one of the reasons that I devoted a day to Sappho instead of lumping her in with Aesop and cruising, because if a teacher is using this course, now I would say ask your students to come up with what they think is a good lyric, bring it in to class, and be ready to explain what's good about it. Don't just say, oh, I like it. No, why? What's good about it? It's an interesting thing to do. Here are 2 lyrics that I've used very profitably in class before. Helplessly hoping her harlequin hovers nearby. This is a song by Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's a study in alliteration. And you could say, well, it's not exactly a lyric because it tells a story. It's a ballad. Nah, it's the words to a song. And Lion Eyes, that should maybe be an apostrophe instead of a G. Lion Eyes. Eagle's Song. City girls just seem to find out early how to open doors with just a smile. A rich old man, and oh, I can't remember, just spontaneously, I can't remember the rest of it. You can't hide your lion eyes, and your smile is a thin disguise. It was good, and it got the kids' attention. And a lot of times they would listen to a song, oh, nice words and all that, but to actually look at it, what's actually being said. So, all right, now Lesbos. Lesbos, that's where we get the word lesbian. Kids get excited about this. Sappho seems to have had a group of students around her, girls, women, that greatly admired her and wanted to be able to write lyrics like she did. I mean, part of this is just like legendary and hearsay, but it's widely known. So there was a school that developed on this island, and some of Sappho's lyrics express her great love for her students, her passionate love for her students. Now you put these things together, these are women, poems about passionate love for these women. She's a woman. Oh, she's a lesbian. Well, you know, of course kids get all excited. And why I do this is because it reminds them that there's etymology. Words have interesting histories. And there is one that gets their attention. And the kids say, what, was Sappho a lesbian? And I said, well, sure, she was from Lesbos. Everybody there, even the men were lesbians. And of course they think, what? But it makes them think a little bit. And, you know, like you say, it gets their attention. So, Sappho. All right, I hope to see you tomorrow.